I lost myself for about 10 or 15 minutes there. No, I wasn't with it.
That's
It
okay.
felt beautiful.
Good.
Felt good.
Good. Could anyone experience that, the feeling of Earth's magnetic field?
Yes.
I felt permeated with energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Like more than I ever have before.
I think we should all start doing that more,
Mm.
connecting into Earth's field.
Ditto,
Okay.
ditto. It was the greatest expansion. Well, I'm already expanded. The realization of my connection. Oh, it was so beautiful. Thank
Oh,
you.
good.
It brought all it in together for me with working on the root and the sacral this whole week. Um, yeah. Again, like we're always, it was very grounding. Like,
Yeah, it does have that effect. But I feel like this strong, like it down through, like I just feel like I'm in Earth's field, and I can feel the like I just feel it one with Earth. And I can feel that we can communicate through those. And I know this is exactly like the cancer, right? It's we haven't been consciously connected to this field. So that's why we've been behaving this way.
it makes complete sense. It, and
Yeah.
that we're a part of Earth. And I think that this happened like last week too. Um, Again, with the meditation that we did last week, which where you were bringing the elements, and then that's where I started to really feel my chakras, and then that's where I started understanding I was feeling more of my upper chakras a lot easier than my lower. Um, but the it just the different feeling. I can't explain it. I sit
That's
with it.
okay. Here, I should have showed you this first, but I didn't. Yeah, now I will, so you can use it this week.
I still feel like my body is vibrating.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I need to try to stay in this more.
Yeah,
We're increasing it, but for me, it's a slow increase, to be paying attention to this.
that's okay. It'll happen more and more. So this is right. So here's the point of singularity and then Earth's magnetic field, right? So it looks flat because it's on the two-dimensional, but it's the double torus, right? So we as are just inside of this, right? So what we're consciously doing is just making that connection. So then when we set an intention, Earth's field is picking that up and distributing it. So we're magnifying, when we connect into Earth, we're magnifying our intention, right? So we can dip into Earth's magnetic field and one, if we like are sending love to everybody, that's just going to go and flow through everyone, right? Whether they're conscious of it or not. Right. So now imagine all of humanity recognizing this connection. You know how Bashar says they're all in telepathic communication? They're aware of this. Like I haven't heard him say that, but I know that they're aware of this because this is how they're communicating through the field. You know,
I just had the insight of the weakening now as the pole shift is occurring of our magnetic field is opening space or so that we can enter it and participate in the magnetics easier. I have no idea, but that's my insight, and I'm going to follow through with finding out
well,
more reality of it mathematically.
well, okay. So what the way I see it is okay. So you know how we talked about. Okay, so when we have, so think of right. So each one of our this. So we know that there's a magnetic field around this, right? We can see the effects of it. We can't see the field, right? But we can see the effects of it, right? It's spinning. Can you guys see? Right, so the double torus that's around this is spinning that. Do you see that? Now, when it flips polarity, so when it's lost its charge, now it goes in reverse. Do you see that? Okay, so that's what happens when a cancer cell loses its charge, it flips polarity. And so now it's not in communication with the rest of the tissue. It's on its own, right? What they do is they apply a voltage so that it starts communicating and it comes back to the tissue. Okay, well, we are doing this, humans, right? So when that's happening in our body, so then our polarity flips. Our polarity flips. So we're not in communication with the rest of humanity. We're not connected to beings. We're like all on our own. We think we're all on our own. We're never not connected, but consciously we're not connected, right? So we're not communicating with other people. We're like fighting with our family, fighting with the universe, like fighting with other people, judging, shaming, guilting everybody, right? So what have we done? We've like lost our polarity and we're like wandering around, not consciously connected to humanity, right? So that's been happening inside Earth. So people have been flipping their polarity. So now what does that do to Earth's magnetic field? It weakens it. That's just like what happens to us. Like if you were to look at our biofield, when someone's sick, it's weak. Our overall energy field when someone's sick is weak.
Can I say something while you're doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is so fascinating, and I love the conversations when it combines the spirituality part with the science or the logical part. It's just fascinating bringing those two facets together. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is what Megan's feeling. I feel like I'm feeling a lot of that too, but at different stages of my body. So instead of I find more lack on my upper instead of my lower. So sometimes what I feel is really good for me is I sit down and I concentrate on the uh, upper chakras. I try to focus or do something to spark something within them instead of the lower parts. And finding that balance within me, I think really helps out to just balance itself out. So yeah, anyway, that's that.
My preview is not working well, but let me quit that. Whoops, whoops, whoops. So, Dia, I don't pay much attention to that information around the Earth's magnetic field, but or the pole shift. But I imagine because it's all, at different scales, right? So this person, look how jagged his energy field is, right? So that means a lot of his cells have lost polarity. They flipped. So the overall field is dependent on the individual fields, right? So Earth's magnetic field is going to shift if we all fall back in line. So, okay, so someone who has a stronger field, look, it's up. Right, do you see? It's more coherent. It's more blue. Do you see that? It's more radiant than this person's field. See?
Mm.
right? It's more solid in here. She's got something going on in her hip area, but you see how it's more blue light in here? It's more vibrant. And you see how this has a lot of gaps and spikes?
So are these real images?
Yeah. I have an instrument, it's called a biowell, and it measures your biofield.
You could, whatever, do this to any of us.
Mhm.
And that's amazing.
Mhm.
So we should really have a retreat so you
I
can do
know.
that.
Yeah. I know.
I'm like, I want to see what mine looks like.
Yeah, and it that, you know, the chakras, you have to realize what the chakras are. The chakras are emotional centers. The ones from here down, from the heart down, are emotional centers. So they're going to so see her, look how big these are. Now they're not always going to look like they're in alignment. So depending on the state you're in, right? So see how big these are? Because she has a bigger field than he does. So someone who's like spiritually not awake, these are going to be, well, not always. I mean, they might look like this or smaller. Someone who's got a lot of fear is going to be tiny. They're going to be small. Like I've seen them really tiny. And someone who has real, like I've seen a psychosis patient, and that field is like barely there. It's like so many gaps in the field. I don't have it up. I'd have to pull up the software to show you, but it's really weak. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Oops, sorry. Stop that. Psychosis. No, it's not. It's fascinating to see this. I just need to find it. Hold on. Here. Look at that. Look at the gaps. Now, it doesn't mean everyone with psychosis will look like that, right? So why is this field stronger? Because they're more in harmonic resonance with the field, right? So your beliefs, if your beliefs are in alignment with the field, the bliss that you are, the more light is going to shine through. Someone who has psychosis is not going to be in alignment with the field. And so the less light will shine through them. So someone with leukemia, here's someone with leukemia here. Interesting, huh?
Yeah. I'm thinking about something you just said and not knowing what to do with it. Our beliefs are more in line with the field. Like,
Okay.
so can you maybe
Yeah.
say something
So,
about
okay. So the field, what are the properties of the field? Pure intelligence,
that? Oh,
infinite energy, infinite wholeness, right? It's not judging. It understands that the reality is just a dream. And so anything that we're seeing is not who we really are,
Mhm.
right? Who we are is this. So it's not judging, and it would only want to help people if they're open to being helped, right? So just like Bashar, right? He wants to help us, but he's not going to force anything on us, right?
Yeah. I see. Yeah. Whereas first I heard the word beliefs and that means something to everybody, I guess, a little differently, you know.
Well, the number one belief is that you're not this,
Mm,
right?
yeah, I see.
So when you
And
know
love,
you're,
you know, I mean, like, so if I guess if I were to say it another way, you know, if I'm having like hateful thoughts, that's disunity, right?
right,
Everything can be looked at in that context, I think.
yeah, yep,
If I'm causing someone else harm, that's not love or bliss or
right,
okay.
yeah. So the qualities of this bliss, right? Eternal, unaffected. So the sky is never affected by anything that occurs inside of it. There can be storms, but the sky just is,
Mm,
right? It's not affected. So if you think you're affected by your experience, you're identifying as the dream self, right? If you think you've been changed by experience, you're identifying as the dream self.
mhm.
You as awareness have never changed. So that's helpful, because then you realize, like, if you're like going, like if you're starting to panic and you're identifying with the emotion that you're feeling, you're like, oh, I know you. This is what I used to do. I like, if I felt an emotion rising up, I'd go, I know you, you don't know me.
I've used that a lot in the last few months since learning that. It's done wonders.
Yeah, right. It allows you to have that separation. So you're like, oh, put my attention back on me, the one who is it, who knows this,
Mhm.
right? I'm not attached to it anymore. So then I have the, if I know that, then I have the ability to change it. Oh, I see. This was my old conditioning when I believed I was just this. That's how I was conditioned to feel. Right. Or, yeah, I'm experiencing loss because I lost somebody. And it's natural to experience loss when you lost someone. Right. But I know this is just a dream. I know that we're all connected, and that, if I'm having conflict with this person, if we broke up or whatever, it's just that's on this level of reality. On a higher level of reality, we're together. Right. And on a higher level of reality, we chose to have this conflict so we both learn from it. So it's just about, which perspective am I choosing? Am I down here getting upset because I am having conflict with this person? Or am I realizing, oh, there's something greater going on here? We're choosing to interact with each other, to be these reflections of each other so we can both learn. So then you sort of detach. You come from a broader perspective, and that broader perspective has less attachment, right? Than the two down here that are arguing and having conflict. Our higher self has a broader perspective of this conflict. So if you can just expand out and go, okay, why would I be agreeing to have this interaction with this person? There's something I need to learn here, and there's something she needs to learn here, or he needs to learn here. And maybe I've already learned, and maybe they're still mad, and that's okay. Because on a higher level, we're all fine.
Yeah, it's all whole.
It's all whole.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when we're in coherence with the field and operating in intelligence and infinite potential and wholeness and all that, our little double toruses are all spinning the same direction and spinning faster, and we're feeling energized, and we can see this light.
Yes. Yes, exactly. our minds are what's in control of that, how much of that light we see. Our mind, our conscious mind is what controls that,
Yeah.
right? So literally though, I mean, my work, I do see that when I'm totally aware of the present moment, everything gets brighter. Colors are more vibrant, right? I do notice that, but I don't see the light back of everything. But like, I know people that do. There's a book called The Supreme Awakening. And there's people in there that talk about what they see. And they don't see it, they might not necessarily see it all the time, but like sometimes you'll see it coming out of like meditation, like Lincoln Gergar and I talked about it in one of the interviews I did with him. And he said that like he was in meditation and he experienced that white light state that I've experienced too, where he's just the white light and everything was the white light. And then when he came out of it, everything like had this white light behind it. Like all the objects that he saw had like this beautiful white light behind it. And I've heard of other people talk about that too. When I came out of it, I just saw the world. But I didn't see the white light. But I was like, whoa, what was that? It was amazing. But hopefully this starts, becoming more clear. That's why it's so good to have this group to speak about these things too, right? It becomes more clear in your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Process. It's just like
It's a process, yeah.
learn something, you integrate it into the body, and then I can't imagine not doing it. Like I can't like not do this anymore. Like it would like this is living to me. Is getting that connection and noticing life more vibrant and having a whole new appreciation for life itself.
There's a video I saw. I don't know if I told you guys about this last week, but there was a video I saw of Bashar, and he had a mask on, like a white mask, and it just had the eyes, and then this part was open, but all of this was like a white mask. And he said to try to think of your face as wearing a mask. And I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. He didn't say why, but he said the exercise was to try to, he might have said why, but at first he didn't say why. And so what I thought was like, oh, he's having them disassociate from this mask. We're the light, expressing as this, right? So by dissociating yourself from your face, right? Imagining your face as a mask, you're free to start identifying as the light.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
It is a lot easier.
Right? So yeah, so if you can pretend, like just while you look in the mirror or just as you're walking about, just start practicing that a little bit. Just realize like you're wearing a mask. Like you are the light. You are consciousness expressing as this physical body. So you get a little bit of distance from the physical, and that's really good because then you can change it. It becomes more vibrational and less solid. And then you can say, oh, how do I want her to feel? How do I want her to look? And you can make that happen.
I feel like that's what I would do. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. But that's just how this works.
Yeah.
Things will come to you as you need them. And then like.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Things coming through today that I've feel like I've tapped in on this week. And yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll help a lot to help disassociate, to visualize that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah. I mean, in the Paul Selig book, in the last one, the 12th book, it said that, I think it was in the 12th book, maybe the 11th book, it talked about like, at least like you would do, it said like, you would all do yourselves well if you spent like an hour a day just feeling yourself as vibration.
Yeah, I believe that.
Right? Because what's happening when you do that? You're letting more light shine through.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed
today. Sorry.
Go ahead, Dia.
That's what today's experience was for me in our session, was the greatest softening of my resistance to feeling, to being the light, and the terminology of I am creator, God. It was softened my resistance to it.
Mhm.
I really experienced it, and I thank you so much.
You're welcome. You know, the field is love. It feels like love, and that's who we are. So the more you can allow yourself to feel love, the more you'll come into harmonic resonance with
I felt more love because I was focusing on the earth.
it. Mm.
Because when I'm feeling love towards like individuals, a lot of stuff kind of gets filtered through and in the way.
Mhm.
By connecting the energy today between me and through the earth and really imagining the energy flow, it was as if I was, very softened, kind of lighter than normal. And it's like I transformed over to like the Middle East where all the stuff is really happening. And it was just like I was looking down and showering this really kind of softened energy and feeling that was just feeling a lot more giving and loving than I've really ever felt for like an individual.
Mm. Yeah, so we associate love with feeling between people, right? Because that's what we've been taught love is, right? But love is really a vibration. It's the foundation of reality. That the field is love. That's what it feels like. So, and that's at the core of us, because the field is what's creating the physical body. That's who we are, is that field, right? In so over time, you'll start to realize that it's a vibration, and the more you just let go and let go and let go and relax and relax and relax, the more you come into harmony with that, the more you feel it. And so you'll start to understand it as the core of you, who you are. But in the beginning, when we don't understand that, you can bring up the feeling of love that you felt with another, and try not to focus on if you can just remember a time where you felt the most love between you. And so if you can't just relax into the space and feel love, then you can use your imagination to generate it by thinking about, an experience where you had felt the most love. Now, if that relationship is gone and there's been trouble in that relationship, try not to focus on the trouble. Try to focus on just the feeling you had, right? Just take their face out of it. Just focus on the feeling, right? And that feeling the more you can feel that connection, the more you will be in harmony with the field. Because if you think about it, what is that feeling? It's just a lack of resistance. That feeling is the reason we feel it between another is because we've allowed ourselves to let go of any resistance. So when we allow ourselves to let go of any resistance in the body, we go back into love. Any feeling of separateness from me in this space, right? Because if I think I'm the body, I kind of hold myself apart from space, right? Which doesn't allow me to feel the energy of space. Does that make sense? So if I just let go and let go and let go, I can feel this energy. And that's what we're doing in relationships. We allow ourselves to relax into that person. But what are we doing? We're relaxing into space. We're letting go of whatever was keeping us from just being love. But we think it's the person. No, the person is the stimulus that allows ourselves to experience love. But the person isn't the source of love. You are.
It's almost like it tricks us into,
And
we get these feelings of, being wanted and, admired and wholeness and all that. And then we start to naturally, our resistance is, much lower, and we start to vibrate a little higher, and we're all of a sudden we're communing with the field and we don't even freaking know it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you so much. This was great.
Very good today.
Yes.
Yes, great. It
Well,
was great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Great week.
See you next week.
Love, love, love.
Bye.